Hello, everybody, and I am doing my answering of my viewer comments. And sorry it's taking me so long, but I do get a lot, and I have a lot to do these days. Just being that I have two collections. Well, one collection in two different places. I have my mom, who's an hour away, that I have to take care of and make sure that she's being taken care of, and relationships in life and all of that. So I'm finally gonna do this. Sorry, and I promise you the project plant update will happen very soon. Stay tuned. So looks like I got a thank you, Denise. It was a nice size thanks, Josh. By YouTube views, whoever that is, your channel calms me. Thank you. Sharon and Aisha, talk harder, whatever that means. Can't understand a thing I say. And let me try something and see if you hear this. Checking out things, noticing the course and then the words. Plants, checking on things that I've had and things that I've remounted or repotted. Okay, so let's check this out. Yours from the nose. So, it may not be, it may be, but those tend to just open or just happen when you least expect it and you're not even aware. So that is why I pointed that out. Now that the real surprise is this one that I have in my bedroom, Belliangel pubescentrum. Okay. And so let's do a flip. I will record my phone to see. But this winter it put up, or this late winter it put up at one spike before I put it out. The spike lasted. Unfortunately, it did put up that growth, and then it could be the start of a kiki. But I do know that these plants can bloom anytime when usually it's precipitated by dropping barometric pressure or the onset of storms coming. And this being the inflorescence, as opposed to this part, which is more of the pseudomodes. And you can see here, this is more of a chain with a kiki as opposed to an inflorescence, which you can see those. And it is sequential. So, okay, I admit that I do mumble, and I think if you understood me and my personality, my shyness, a lot of the times there are neighbors, which you can probably hear in the background as if they are standing next to me. So I do tend to mumble. It's kind of, call it some armor that I have developed as far as speaking low in a tone to where only those that I am close by can hear me. Because you never know who's listening, and you never know who's listening. So I have really looked at not projecting so that those who are to be listening in the first place can hear me. But I do have a louder voice and a big barrel laugh. And, feel free to make a GoFund for me and get me a mic. I have mic'd myself out. I don't think they will sell me another mic because they break. And it's always the same. So, feel free. My mama never raised a fool to look a gift horse in the mouth. Anyway, it's just a thought. You didn't hear from me. Then we have Joyous Orchids, who said, "Beautiful collection you have there, sir. You have a new follower. Hi, I'm Sharon. This is a wonderful, pretty grow space. Hearts, leaves, blooms. Thank you, Sharon. I will have to check out your site. Hopefully you have some pretty orchid blooms, and I am sure that they will make me smile and fill me with joy." Melbourne, Australia. I am going to New Zealand, South Island, early next year, so we will see. Denise, thank you as always. I guess we're talking about the bucket list plants. It is nice when I get, bucket list plants that are surviving and doing well and blooming, and especially when you can have several in bloom at once. I'm sure that you all started with one, and your goal was to have at least one in bloom at all times, and that's how I feel. So it's extra special to have your most prized orchids blooming at all, but when you have a handful all in bloom at once, it's really a great sense of accomplishment and personal confidence. It really encourages me to push myself further and try more difficult orchids, because I would consider those on my bucket list to be some of the difficult ones, because that just is the way it happened. But thanks, Joyous. Thanks, Sharon, and I will check it out. And thanks, Denise. I don't know. Woohoo one. Thank you for watching my videos. You have such a spirit about you, and I really like your commenting. And thanks for showing up and watching my videos and commenting. Keep it up. Vern, I know. Thanks for the lesson. I want to acquire some of these orchids. I hope that that's what I inspire you. These are somewhat rare and somewhat difficult to acquire, somewhat difficult to keep alive, at least for me. So all I know is what I do, how I grow them, and I only can show it and share it with you. Not that I am the know-it-all, but I just know what works for me, and I'm more than eager to share, especially if you ask. Okay, but Vern, nice commenting. Veen, I'm sorry. Where am I? So I will definitely keep you posted on my Isabella. Have I ever tested my Cattleyas for viruses? That might be an answer. No, I never will do that, just because I've never felt like my plants were virused. I mean, we should assume that they're all virused anyway. And when you have as many as I have, and I share my water to begin with, so I have to assume that they are virused. Now, I think that sometimes you just get duds, and sometimes a plant just does not want to be subjected to your care or whatever, for whatever reason. I think there's duds out there, and there could be viruses, but I don't want to know, because that just starts the snowball effect of conspiracy. You should just assume that we're all a mixture. We're not all one race anymore. We're all more or less scrambled eggs. We have a little bit of black, white, European, French. All of us do, especially if you've lived in the States for a few decades. You've seen the change in the times, how small the world is getting, and how mixed race culture is no longer taboo or looked frowned upon. So there's a lot of scrambled eggs, and so I just think the plants go from hand to hand. Unless you chop them out of the jungle, they pass through so many hands before it got to you. And those people took care of those plants, even if it was for 24 hours. So you don't know what they did to those plants, so you should assume it. Anyhow, I just think it's a dud. And I just think some things just don't like me. And I think at some point you have to just quit trying. Speaking about Didiri, I also have one that's growing really slow. So about a new one started to go nicely and it bloomed. So maybe the reason is not in the species, but in the plant itself. Right, I agree. And that's pretty much a healthy attitude to have. Don't rule out the species completely. I would blame myself rather than the place, or the place that you live, or the specific orchid. It's not their, really, like I said, you don't know who's had it before you. And thank you. Flowers are amazing. This is talking about Trichocentrum, tigrinum, and Dave, thanks for commenting, and thanks for watching. I really have lost touch on Instagram. I used to look at your site all the time because you have some wonderful orchids, and your cat. But anyway, I would like to hear what your culture was. Just to give me a heads up. Right now, I have it. It's actually it's hanging inside the cage where it's been, and it gets watered a couple times a day. It's in the shade, where it gets some good air movement. So we will see. But yeah, Dave, let's catch up, and I'll have to check up with you on the Instagram because I miss checking out your photos. But thanks for watching, and thanks for commenting. Okay, Kathleen Houghton. I love this orchid and so glad I got it from Ecuagenera. It's a big plant. Nice. I'm glad that Ecuagenera has big ones. I just got mine on eBay. No, maybe I did get that from, I don't remember now, because I just get so much. But I believe I got it from eBay. No, I'm sorry. I didn't get it from eBay. This is my tigrinum. I'm thinking about Stacy I. Okay. Trichocentrum tigrinum. I got that last fall from a member of the club in Chicago. She was moving, and she offered a few of her things, and that was one of them that I picked up. It hadn't bloomed before. No, it had actually bloomed before. And she had already allowed the plant, before I got it, it was producing new pseudobulbs, and it was very, very healthy. As you can see by the moss that's on that plant, it is just loving water and loving life, and it is a very special plant. And I'm nice. I'm glad that Ecuagenera has big ones. Wow. Okay. So, Leanne, I love your foul collection. Thank you. I love my foul collection too. It's really getting there. I'm really getting it together, and it makes me so happy. My latest video that's downloading right now is about my files. Then we got orchids that are a pain in my ass. Okay, so it goes Nadun Chiralafa. Well, anyway. Does it rain often in your area? How do you water your orchids? Well, this year, this summer, the spring, we had much of a, it was, we got some rain, but it was mostly dry. I just water with a hose. I fertilize with rainwater that I catch in my cage. I have a rain bucket that I fill the buckets with and then soak them with the fertilizer. Other than that, for the most part, on my daily watering, I use just the hose. We have good water here. It's, of course, it has chlorine and other things in it, but for the most part, the plants are okay with it. It probably rains here maybe once every 10 days, which is not good. So last year, it was more or less like a rainforest here. We got rain every day for the most part, and especially during this part of the summer, which is typically the hottest part, and going into the end of June into around 4th of July, and then sliding into August. That's usually when it's hottest here in the Midwest, which is about 90. It'll be 90 every day, 90% humidity. But the problem is, we generally won't get a lot of rain, and then because we are in the middle of cornfields, they don't like the rain. Not after they've, been, as long as before they grow. But anyway, typically we don't get much rain in the summer, and the temperatures stay as hot in the day as they do at night. So we're running the AC all 24/7. It's humid day and night, and the orchids just hate that, and that has been the detriment. This year there's been a little bit of a temperature change, less humid at night, but still, that kind of is my conditions here. Okay, thank you, Woo Woo One. I always try to introduce you all. Thanks, Fee, for watching your goddess. And thank you. I'm glad that you like my humor, Ninja. Yeah, I guess you're in a black hole. But anyhow, I did mention you, and I thank you for thanks for being honest and telling me just that I am mumbling so much, and I'm working on that. And I thought it was a bobo. But anyway, maybe I can hook you up on a trichopilia. They're Ecuagenera. You should be able to get one of those because they ship now, even over there at a show, pre-order, and they have a few. I would do it. Okay, let me move on down. Thank you, Ninja, again. Thank you, Denise. And I wish. Okay, Vietnam's have a lot of. Wow. I don't think I'll ever make it to Vietnam, but that sounds like such a great offer. And there's no reason to be jealous. You two can have it. All you have to do is just be perseverance, and you have to go into it, the orchid hobby, with 200% commitment, and you have to be patient. And you have to just view it as a hobby and have fun. Thank you, Woo Woo One, again. I love my Phalaenopsis gigantea. I'm glad that it is doing well. What is my media? I have a lot of different medias that I use depending on the orchid, Carol. Thanks for watching, and thanks for commenting. My mounts, of course, they're a mixture of ceramic. Some of our mounts of bark and cork. Depending on the pot, My cattleyas, my dendrobiums, I tend to have in a more of a aerated, airy mix where they are big chunky bark or big rocks, lava, to where they have perfect drainage and their roots are allowed to dry. Any cattleyas as well, dendrobiums, because they want lots and lots of water. So they want a free-flowing media. As far as the others, Phalaenopsis, they want something that's more moisture retentive. Their roots do not want to dry out. So they want an aerated media, but they still want a bit of sphagnum and a bit of moss in there. And I also like to put in a bit of charcoal as well, either on the bottom of the pot to add drainage, but amongst the mix as well, which adds, it purifies and keeps the mix, keeps it fresher longer. And Dendrobium macaque, I purchased one of these by mistake and I'm having a hard time finding information. I wanted to ask you if you have it indoors or outdoors. Mine is very small. Came in a very small pot. Also, I lost a lot of that. I don't think it's normal. I would say they like shade. I would put them outside in a shady location, and I would make sure that their roots are in a media that has good drainage. They want a lot of water this time of the year. Mine just finished blooming, well, whenever this video was, and it has continued to grow and put up new growths and continue to grow the pseudobulbs and the leaves that it had already been growing. So, and I've continued to water it really well. My last one that I had, that was what the demise was. I had it in shade and I potted it up, but it did not get enough moisture. I neglected it and it didn't get enough moisture. We have to remember these plants they get rain, they're tropical temperate climate, and they get copious amounts of water. Stanhopeias, dendrobiums, cattleya types. I mean, every time I walk past them and look at them, I water, because that's what they want. That's how they get frequent showers, and then they get, time in between where there's breezes and, sun comes out, and then they get a chance to dry. Hot, wet, dry cycle. So I would say, if it's losing leaves, I think that's a moisture issue. Unless you have it in direct sun, because it would not like direct sun. Okay, Veen, I am very enthusiastic because I am very choosy. Thank you, Denise. Tracy Strombone, Strombotany. I thought you were Strombone. Anyway, lovely haul. Thanks, Tracy. And Carol, I know, Denise. I showed you the haul. Arlene, I'm doing well. Things are better. Got the ice pack on my hip. Nick Moore, thank you. I do whisper. Listen to the video. Sorry for my loss. Thanks, Newman. Anyway, that's what we do. So you just have to process it and go with it. Thank you for your comments, and wow, Japan, amazing. Then from June, could you do an episode about watering orchids? Well, I have done one. Let me see if I can find it. I know it was right up here. Okay, should be coming up. You
Designing
ready?
an SUV for the electric age means redesigning what an SUV.
Is that enough? Okay, hopefully that was helpful. Thanks, Denise, as always. Thanks, Annabella Farai Orchideas. Thank you for your comments. And then Denise, there's Yoshi. Thank you, Yoshi. And you came here for the Flickingeria. Curious about its origin. Hold on 1 second. I might have some more information. Give me a second. I just happened to have this book that has a nice section on Dendrobium and the Flickingeria. So, gives you a little bit of information. Used to be a few different things. Looks like it's fairly common in Malaysia. Used to be a desmotrichum. There's Flickingeria Canada. Now, I used to have a Flickingeria, of course, the video, and me and Sharon kind of gave peace to her, and then mine was remounted, and then it died. And I really miss that plant. I think about it all the time, but these are very rare. I doubt if I will ever find any more, but fancy you would ask that. Here's a little cultural information on Flickingeria, the habitat. Lowland forest orchid through the PNG, Pacific, no, what am I saying? Papua. Okay. And epiphytic on trees, open forest and small trees, and regeneration areas are for logging or regrowth on near water courses. And when I noticed, mine loved lots of water, daily water. Delightful plant, very beautiful fringed labellum on the flower, I'm assuming. The flower lasts very short, maybe a day, half of a day, was somewhat fragrant. Rootless branched stems, sometimes pendulous, reaching out for the sun. Many close branched shoots from the base. New flowers start at the base of each leaf in pairs. Flowers last less than a day. Hopefully that helped you. Diary Ning Yaya. Again, I love Flickingeria as well. I wish I still had it. Hopefully that gave you some information. And thanks again. Okay, back to questions. I did not hybridize. I completely skipped on it. And actually, there was a question that was on my channel about, well, it was from Norma. And she talked about, I did not go to San Diego. She asked me that if I went to Andy's. No, I didn't go. I decided to stay and save money. I bought too many plants. Phalaenopsis outside. Do I use moss? Yes, I use moss. you just have to make sure that you don't overwater the moss. You have to make sure that the moss approaches dryness before you water it again, unless the plants are acclimating. I would say they need a little bit more water. And with that, you also need to make sure that the moss, since you are watering it a little bit more and it stays moist more, you have to make sure that it stays fresh. And with Phalaenopsis and moss, I make sure that I change their media or their moss in like every year. And if I use moss with paths, I usually change it every couple of years. That's generally the lifespan of that. Paphiopedilums, before they're mature size and blooming size, they prefer a lot of water to get their roots going, so that they can produce those little side shoots, which make them impressive. And that usually happens in moss. So, and once they become big, then that's when you switch to more of a barky, aerated mixture with some moss mixed in, but not full-on moss. Where did I buy the Aranthes ramosas? That I bought those at Santa Barbara Orchid Estate. No, I'm sorry, that's not where I bought them from. I bought them from Brookside Orchids they're from San Francisco. Thank you, Vin. You're gonna try an epidendrum. You should. Epidendrums aren't that hard. They can grow in warm climate. They like lots of water. Lots of water. They can almost sit in water, but not for a day. But a lot of work these changing temperatures cause. Thank you. I have to, or else Mother Nature always wins. Thank you, Linda, for watching and commenting. It does predict everything. Roots say everything. What do I add to my water? And once I know, we can go from there. Okay, what do I add to my water? Well, depends on where I'm at, but for the most part, my water is rainwater. If we're talking about fertilizing, I start with rain, and then I add about a splash of liquid kelp for roots, and then I add, primarily I add Grow, General Hydroponics Grow, and that's what I use in the summer because they're in the growth phase. In the wintertime, I use General Hydroponics, the Bloom. I switch to Bloom. And I also will put Epsom salts in the water as well. And once a month I make sure that my pH is between 5.8 and 6. And then I use CalMag. So that's what's in my water at any given time. Thank you, Newman. Hopefully that answers some of your questions. Kyle Kirsten, thank you. All from Marble KG. I'm telling you, he's got the deals. I can't complain about it, but there are those that whisper in my ear that his plans are virused and that he's a crook, but not to me. Yeah, you're right, Newman. We all should just use our hobby for what it is and not get so serious about it, and spread the love, share the knowledge. It's a community. It shouldn't be mean girls. It shouldn't be cliquish. But people are people. I can only be me. Well, once you lose it, and you don't know where you got it from, and you have hundreds of plants that look the same, it's a guessing game, really, because there's so many hybrids out there. You can come close if you know, but as far as anything more than that, it's really hard. I do know my orchids, and thanks again, Newman. Cymbidiums, Cattleyas, you say, Dendrobium nobiles, Nice collection. Nice. Yeah, you have a better, more intermediate climate, I would think. We can share growing tips. Yes. Sure, bring it on. How cold does it get there? In the summer, well, in the wintertime, it gets down to, I would say about, no, not -8 Celsius. It gets colder than that. We have had -degrees, minus Fahrenheit. One year it got down to -20 degrees Fahrenheit for about for a week actually in my greenhouse, and I couldn't heat it because the circuits kept breaking. So 17, and they can handle it. You must have cool orchids. In my greenhouse, well, I have heat, but my heater keeps my orchids right around 60. My Phalaenopsis needs 60s. Thanks again. Thank you, Leanne W. And of course, Denise. I love those roots as well. Thank you, Giselle Porto. You sound Italiano, or I guess you could be Portuguese. Can you soak them overnight like that? Yes, you can do them like that as long as they are able to dry. And I mean, think about it. They do, it does rain at night. I don't soak them overnight. I put them in the bucket until the roots get green. About a half an hour, then I pull them out and let them dry. I don't leave them overnight. I'm sorry. I guess I was misunderstanding the question. I wouldn't leave them overnight like that. That will kill the plant. Just 30 minutes until the roots are able to soak up moisture, because after they get green, they're not taking up any more moisture. They've reached their max. Plants fair. You have so many in collection. I wish I had a place to have a collection as big as you have. Well, I wish I had a place to have. Well, I do. I just have to get them back together. They look better when they're together, but I am enjoying them where they're at right now, honestly, because I can see them and there's more space in between them rather than them all being, together. And thank you, Denise, for your comments. Thank you, Veen, for sticking with me. Eranthes grandiflora, Rena, Gilevi. What size pot? And do you prefer clay pots for your Eranthes? Well, I actually prefer plastic pots, to be honest, because Eranthes want to be hung up high in the shade in the canopy so that they can hang those long inflorescence down. And they're better viewed from that perspective anyway, underneath the canopy. So, and they like a shady, breezy location. Grandiflora can take more sun, but for the most part, they like dappled sun and lots of moisture. So it depends on the size of the plant, really. I try to keep their roots as tight in a pot, if that makes sense. So if the plant is in a 2-inch plastic pot, I leave them in a 2-inch plastic pot, or a 2-inch plastic, I should say. I'm thinking of those flimsy plastic cups like Taiwan fails come in. But anyway, I'm rambling. Once they get to be a mature size, then I look into putting the plastic pot inside terracotta, or the whole plant repotted inside the terracotta. I do like my plants in terracotta just to sort of show that they are more permanent in my collection, since this is a forever collection. And I know, at least I'm working on it. I'm working on my mumbling. And sometimes I do mumble. But there's no way that I'm going to put the camera down. That's a little lame, because if I put it down, then I'm relegated to one spot. So when you have an orchid collection that spans, the way mine does, you have to be mobile. I'll just leave it at that. That's just my preference. It's nice, looking nice in the jungle. I know you've got a lot going on, Denise. You ain't fooling me. The Equigenera. Thank you. I did redo it. Thank you all. I know Denise. Plants fair. It's always exciting to see spikes on an orchid plant. It really is. It tells you they are happy. And there's more Denise. Nice haul. Thank you, Denise. Mary G. Thanks for watching. Thank you. The Hancockia is beautiful and is fragrant. Sorry. Okay. Mary Lalone. Thanks for watching. Yeah, they did survive. And there's Yoshi again. Winter hasn't quit quite yet. Well, it's quit here. It's in the middle of summer. And I think I'm about ready to get off of this video. Girly, would you keep the camera still? Stop the moment and increase the volume. It's hard to follow the camera. Making us dizzy. Well, I don't know. Maybe you need some Dramamine. But like I was telling someone else up here, that if I don't move the camera around, you won't see everything. And I think you will be more upset at that than anything else. Thanks, Veen, again, and thanks, Michelle Carini. I told you how much it costs. It's not that much. Anyway, look forward to the project plan update finally soon. And thank you all for commenting. Thanks, Mick. There's Mick Mazdavalias. Check him out. He's got a great channel, strictly Mazdavalias, but he has a lot of culture, a lot of knowledge, and he's got a humongous collection of spotless, healthy, just thriving. And so Mick will not lead you wrong. Thanks again about Prince. He is gorgeous and he's a sweetheart. And happy growing to you, buddy. And then Denise will end on Denise. And folks, thank you for watching. And for my dog, from my dog Prince. Enjoy your orchids. Bye.